Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Kiki MMA channel. Today we will be going over the Xander Zayas versus Jaron Boots Ennis fight from about a week and a half ago, and our the thoughts, and what's next for all the fighters on the card. Um, let's start with the main event. Boots Ennis looked absurdly fast especially at 154, and he kept up his power. I really thought that he would either look a little bit slower because he had one fight at 154 before this, but I mean, it was against the bum and he won in one round. So we didn't really get to see much, but the power is definitely still there. It looks amazing, the power, and he looked really fast. He looked fast, way faster than Zayas, way more powerful. He mixed up his style and stance as well. From an offensive perspective, he was perfect for the fight. I don't see who's going to eat him in this division. Virgil is going to be a hard fight. Sebastian Fundora is really tall. Who knows? But I don't know how he's going to lose. He looks so good. The only downside was his defense and his chin. I mean, round 3 was the only real round that Xander Zayas won, and he won it by a wide margin. He snapped back Boots' head with it looked like a jab, which is not a good sign to see, especially with the fighter moving up in weight. And I think the defense looked shaky all around. I wonder if some degree he was really looking for a finish. That's why he allowed to be hit a little bit more. But especially against fighters like Virgil Ortiz and even Sebastian Fundora, the defense is going to need to be much sharper. I wonder if that means he won't be as explosive from the round 1, but the defense needs to be sharper if he wants to win all the fights in this division. And I think that it's an A-plus performance for him. I don't like obviously round 3 is a problem, but I don't see how you can do much better than that. Um, Moving on to the loser of the main event, Anders Zayas. The heart and the chin. I mean, man, the heart in this guy is absurd. He did not quit. There's no one can tell me he quit. I mean, it was just he looking at his corner when the fight ended. The corner wanted to stop it. He was going to get up. He was completely, and he was still in it. He was just taking so much punishment. There was no reason to keep that fight going. And the chin is a little bit shaky, but it's there. Like, he did not get knocked out cold. He got not knocked down, stood back up twice, probably would have stood up the third time. And really the most important thing, he's so young. He is way younger than Boots. He's the youngest, like, real contender in this division. He will have plenty of time, especially, I think, eventually Fundora, Ortiz, Boots, these guys will eventually probably make their way to 160. I think Zayas should go to 160 right now to get ahead of them a little bit. I think he can win a belt there. It's a pretty weak division right now with Johnny Beck's drug problems and Erislandy Laura's like 85 years old. I don't know. I think that Ender Zayas really, I think he had moments like winning round 3, the way he won round 3 against Boots. He looked the best against Boots. I think the Aaron guy won some rounds off him, but like he did not look like Xander Zayas did out there. And I think that really my only problem was the strategy just wasn't that smart. He went out there, tried to brawl with the guy who was faster and more powerful than him. I don't know. It just didn't seem like from the corner perspective, they really gave him the best game plan going in there. And I think he just looked overall a level below Booth. Booth might look a level above him more so. But I think he needs to move up in his next division. I'll talk later on who I think he should fight next. But I think that overall, he didn't really. His stock still went up after this fight. I don't see how you could say his stock went down. He's gonna move up to the division. He can probably get a title, probably take a tune-up fight, then maybe get the title shot right away. I don't think there's anyone that amazing at 160 who will pose a huge challenge to him. I think eventually once these other 154 guys come up, then he could pose a challenge, obviously. But I think the Zayas, I think he could beat Sebastian Fundora if they fall at 160. I'm not putting that past him, and I think he beats almost everyone at 160 right now. Now, moving on to the co-main event, Emiliano Vargas. He looked really powerful, good chin. He took, I think it was almost like an overhand, looked like a clean overhand from Bryce Mills, and did not look like it made any sort of impact on him. He had a good game plan coming out in the stance he did. Like, he looked great. I can't take anything away from him. He looked really good. The only problem is it was against Bryce Mills. I mean, it's still Bryce Mills. Bryce Mills is nothing special. I think Bryce Mills really wanted this fight, and he thought he was tailor-made for it. And he looked okay, but I mean, it's the level of competition's not that high. I think he wants to take time slowly. I like that. I like him taking his time, get him maybe another fight or two. But I think the next opponent should be a little bit higher in competition. I'll talk about who I think it should be later. But I think that he looked very good. I think it's a good performance from him. A- performance. I think he looked good. I really couldn't find that many flaws. I mean, he got hit a little bit, but it looks like his chin's good, so I'm not that worried. But I think it was a good performance by Emiliano Vargas. I like him getting the publicity he got from this fight. I think he needs to keep on rolling it over into his next fight. And a little bit later, who I want him to fight. And last fight I want to individually, Ben Whitaker. I mean, looked really good. And I think, yes, Rivera fought, I think it was it Badu Jack maybe or someone. He fought someone of note recently, one of the other cruiserweight, I think cruiserweight champion, maybe. I don't know. But he's not that high level an opponent. Ben Whitaker needs a real challenge. He looks with the showboating, the skills are there, and he's able to sort of be, I think he beginning of his career he showboated more. And after that Lee and Cameron loss, he's now able to sort of work in his showboating while still fighting at an absurdly high level. I think that you couldn't have done anything much better. Didn't really get hit. I want to see him stay active. I want to see him fight again soon. I'll talk about it in a second who I think that should be. But he needs a real step up in opponent. He needs someone who will give him some rounds, who will challenge him to a high degree. Someone who's a high level fighter. I don't think Lee and Cameron was that high level. I think Ben Whitaker didn't look that good in the first fight against him. Obviously, looked good in the second fight, knocked him out. But yeah, I think it was a really good performance for as long as it lasted. Ben Whitaker, I'm grading an A. Good performance. Overall, good card. I think it was just a high tucker, mediocre showing. On the undercard is what it is. And I think that now it's important about what are the fights to make next. I think the fight we need next is Boots versus Virgil Ortiz. I think Virgil Ortiz is finally settled his stuff with Golden Boy, and he should be able to fight soon. I don't know, but it seems like all of boxing, except for Zuffa, obviously, which is what it is looking to align under DAZN with PBC joining DAZN after their Amazon deal's done. I think that we should be able to get whatever fights we want now. And I think that Boots versus Virgil Ortiz is the highest level fight in 154, if not all of boxing. These guys are so skilled. They're so tough. They have great power. I think that Boots wins, and I don't think it's particularly close. Virgil Ortiz got dropped by Hokachuk, and even though he won that fight, I feel like he didn't look that good. And he's looked good against like lower level opposition, but so is Boots. I think that Boots probably it's probably a harder fight, especially both these guys' defense looks a little bit shaky. Virgil Ortiz more so. I think this fight will show who's really the best. I think, honestly, if they fight, the winner should be top five pound for pound. I think that they've both been, I mean, they're not really that young anymore, but they're both great champions and they're great fighters. And I think that that's one of the highest level fights where it's almost a 50-50 fight. I'm sure most people think it is. I'm more of a Boots guy. I think Boots wins that fight. But yeah. Next fight to make, I have Xander Zayas versus Erickson Lubin at 160. I think that Lubin will fight at 160 if he gets this fight. I don't think it's a big deal for him. Lubin's a high level opponent. I think he's a good fighter. He obviously has looked better against some fighters than others. I think Virgil Ortiz made him look kind of dumb. I don't know. Yeah, I think that would be a good fight to make. I think it's not like a complete tune-up fight, but it's a much easier fight for Xander Zayas. He probably wins the unanimous decision there. That's not that close. I think it's an opportunity to settle himself in a new way, a class. I think Lubin will move up for it. I don't think it's much of a problem. I think it gives Zayas an opponent who's probably would be the second hardest opponent he's ever fought, but levels below Boots. I think it's a very winnable fight for Zayas. I think it's a great next fight for him. Maybe I need to take a lot of damage, maybe late next year, middle of next year, who knows. Next fight I want to make is Emiliano Vargas versus Alberto Puello. Puello, I think, recently pulled out of the fight against Dalton Smith. I doubt they'll give him another title shot soon. So I think that this fight is a good, almost like fight before the title fight for Emiliano Vargas. I think he wins, but this is the kind of fight where Puello can really like kind of shock the world and beat Vargas. I think that Vargas should be the favorite, but Puello's like been really good. He beat Gary Antoine Russell, who's a really good fighter. I think that Vargas probably wins, But this could be scrappy, and this could be show a real test of how good he really is, and if he's ready to take a shot at the belt. Next up, I think this is the easiest fight to make. I think this absolutely should happen and might happen. I don't know. But Ben Whitaker versus Anthony Yard. Anthony Yard sort of been a like gatekeeper almost to like the top, I would say like 5-10 fighters in that division. And I think that this is a really way to test Ben Whitaker's skill against a dangerous but not too dangerous opponent. I don't think that Anthony Yard is a little bit old. I don't think that he really can beat Ben Whitaker, but like we can't put Ben Whitaker against Cans anymore. We need to see him have a real fight. They're both British guys. They're both under Matchroom. This shouldn't be too hard to make. I think this should happen. Pretty straightforward. And lastly, in all seriousness, Bryce Mill. I think he's from Syracuse. You know what? Give him a nice 15-12 can back in the Turning Stone, Verona, the Boxing Hall of Famers. It's a little casino up there. They have a few fights up there. He's fought there a lot. Bryce Mills, you can go straight back to Turning Stone and fight someone who's 15-12 and not that good. And that will do it for the first episode of Kiki MMA of the Kiki MMA YouTube channel. I'm very excited. There should be some more good content coming. Sorry for a little bit late with this, but in all seriousness, Richard Torres will be the undisputed heavyweight champion in no time at all. This was just a setback. See you guys next time.